The first thing, when I looked objectively at our success and profitability and growth over the last 20 years is number one, the diversification of skill sets among the leadership team. And I think this is a key component of one of the things that has really made Hyland successful. And what I mean by that is that we had a lot of people, particularly early on, and then have been able to have the same type of component as we've grown, where we had a lot of diverse skill sets from the leadership team. And what happens, as you know, in a lot of these entrepreneurial stories, is there's tremendous amount of peaks and valleys. There's lots of up times and down times. There's lots of times where money's tight and customer problems, and there's times when things are growing and everything seems like it's going perfectly. So you got to be able to handle both of those. But the interesting thing about us is that when we had the downtimes and the tough issues came up all the time, we had a set of people that could each kind of handle whatever type of issue that was. And we didn't have 4 developers start the company. We didn't have 3 accountants start the company. We had my brother who founded the company. He was sort of a customer relations and software ergonomics type guru. We had another gentleman who was a database and architecture guru. We had we had a finance guy who was really sound and solid. We had somebody who knew how to raise money really well, and then we had a sales and marketing person. And it was interesting because we didn't have the artistic difference problems early on. So I think that's interesting. One example of that is that my father was particularly gifted at raising money. He was excited and energized about telling the Hyland Software story, and oftentimes he would come in the morning and we sort of like, hey Dad, how you doing? We don't have money for payroll today, so you need to hop on the horse and make sure that's in there in the account by 4 o'clock. And he would figure out a way to make that happen. Now, if you had given that task to me, I would probably come back with like a roll of quarters or something, and not been able to do it. It's just not in my wheelhouse or skill set. But he was able to talk and able to do that and be successful. So we were able to do that. So what does this mean to all of you? I really do think that from my perspective, regardless of the size of your team or your department and where you are now or where you're going, I think it's absolutely crucial to have a diverse set of skills within your leadership team. And that's from an IT perspective and what you're trying to accomplish from your organizations. Having different sets of people that can handle different sets of problems is great, and acknowledging that not one person can be everything to everybody. So an example here is if you spent time and had like your leadership team was just 4 great strategists, well, that's probably pretty good. I mean, you're going to be able to strategize and think about where you're going. But when it gets time to do stuff, you might struggle there. And then on the opposite end, if you have like 4 doers on your leadership team, you're probably going to get stuck in the weeds, and a lot of strategic opportunities are going to float by, and you won't be able to get that. So I think it's important to have a diverse set of people at the top level to make sure that it's going in the right direction. So another example of Hyland is I would not consider myself a visionary by any stretch or a great strategist. I've gotten better over the years, but I've got a couple of people that I work very close with who are particularly good at that. However, if you left some of the implementation up to them, nothing would get done. So I kind of step in and sell it to the company or get it moving and get it implemented. And you use those complementary skill sets within your leadership team to drive things forward. So I would just suggest one of the things that has made us, from an entrepreneurial perspective, very successful was the diversification of that skill sets. And I do think that's relevant within IT organizations as well. So one of the undertones of all of this, obviously, is having the humility and the wherewithal to understand that you do have limitations and understand that other people are going to have to fill those. So I encourage IT managers and CIOs and any leader to really take the time to assess what they can and can't do and make sure you plug those holes with other leaders so you've got a group of people that can handle whatever comes your way.